An analyst just called the Raiders biggest free agent signing one of the six worst deals of the entire offseason. Not one of the questionable ones. Not a wait and see. One of the six worst in the entire NFL. Raider Nation, we need to talk about Tyler Linderbaum. And we need to talk about whether these critics actually have a point, or whether they have absolutely no idea what this signing means for the future of this franchise. Welcome back to Us Football Daily. Let's get into it. Here are the facts. Plain and simple. The Las Vegas Raiders signed center Tyler Linderbaum to a 3-year, $81 million contract. $60 million of that is fully guaranteed. His average annual salary? $27 million per year. That makes Tyler Linderbaum, a center, the highest paid interior offensive lineman in NFL history. By a lot. Before this deal, the highest paid center in the NFL was Creed Humphrey of the Kansas City Chiefs at $18 million per year. Linderbaum is making $9 million more per year than that. $9 million more per year at the center position. Now here is the context. Linderbaum is 25 years old. He was a first-round pick out of Iowa by the Baltimore Ravens back in 2022. He has been to the Pro Bowl 3 straight years. He has started 71 out of a possible 73 games in his career. He grades out as one of the top 5 centers in the entire NFL by Pro Football Focus in every single season he has played. The Raiders entered free agency with more cap space than any team in the league. They needed a center desperately. Their old center, Jordan Meredith, ranked 32nd out of 40 qualified centers in 2025, dead last among starters. So the Raiders went out and got the best one available. And the critics lost their minds. So let me give the critics a fair hearing, because I think Raider Nation deserves to hear exactly what is being said. Analyst Ethan Woody of NFL Trade Rumors called this deal one of the 6 worst signings of the entire free agency period. He said, and I want to be fair here, that while the cap grows every year and contracts get bigger, Linderbaum making $27 million year is still what he called an absurd jumpin' for the center position. His argument is that even if the Raiders felt forced to pay that number to get him away from other teams, it does not automatically make it a smart contract. Bleacher Report's Gary Davenport took it further. He pointed out that before this deal, there were only 2 centers in the entire NFL making more than $15 million a year. Not a single center was making $20 million. Linderbaum is now making more than the combined gap between him and the second highest paid center. Davenport's words? The Raiders did not just make Linderbaum the highest paid center in the league. They, quote, blew the market at the position out of the water. And there is a real risk argument here too. The Raiders still have massive holes on this roster. They have needs at wide receiver, safety, edge rusher, and running back. Did they tie up $27 million per year in a center, a non-premium position, when all those needs still exist? That is the criticism, and on paper, I understand why people are saying it. But here is why I think the critics are completely missing the big picture. And I mean completely. Number 1, look at who is coming to Las Vegas. Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall pick, future franchise quarterback. The entire rebuild of this organization runs through that man. And the most important person protecting your franchise quarterback is the center. The center calls the protections. The center identifies the blitz. The center is the quarterback of the offensive line. You are about to invest the number 1 pick in the entire draft into your quarterback. You think you are going to cheap out on the center who protects him? Number 2, Linderbaum's PFF pass blocking win rate was 96.2% last season, second best among all interior offensive linemen in the NFL. And here is the key. His 2025 grade looked lower than it actually was because he was playing next to 2 of the worst guards in football in Baltimore. In Las Vegas, he plays next to Jackson Powers Johnson. A completely different situation. Number 3, the Raiders' offensive line was a disaster in 2025. They led the league in sacks allowed. Ashton Jeanty rushed for 975 yards as a rookie behind one of the worst run-blocking units in football. Add Linderbaum at center, and you are looking at a completely transformed unit. And number 4, Kubiak's offense is built around a physical, zone-blocking run game. Linderbaum was literally the engine behind the Ravens' dominant run game with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. He is the perfect fit for exactly what Kubiak wants to do. The critics are judging this deal in isolation. The Raiders are building something, and Linderbaum is a foundational piece of that build. Here is where I land. Is $27 million a year for a center a massive number? Yes, absolutely. Nobody is going to pretend otherwise. But do you know what is even more expensive? Drafting a franchise quarterback with the number 1 overall pick and watching him get destroyed behind a broken offensive line. Do you know how much that costs? It costs you years. It costs you Mendoza's confidence. It costs you this entire rebuild. The Raiders have cap space. They needed a center. The best center on the market was Linderbaum. They paid to get him. That is what aggressive rebuilding looks like. The critics calling this one of the worst signings of free agency are the same people who forget that just 1 year ago, Las Vegas's center was ranked 32nd in the NFL. In one move, they went from dead last to elite. That is not a mistake. That is exactly what you are supposed to do. Now I want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments right now. Do you think the Linderbaum signing was worth $81 million, yes or no? This is the pinned comment for today's video. If you are not subscribed yet, we are 11 days from the 2026 NFL Draft, and this team is making moves every single day. Hit that subscribe button and do not miss a thing. Let's ride, Raider Nation.